Making a music visualizer for entertainment purposes? Well, it wasn't easy, I can tell you that much. We aim towards finding a good mapping between pitch and amplitude to the visual elements.
Extracting pitch and amplitude from an audio clip using harmonic product spectrum and a weighted autocorrelation function turned out to be quite a challenge, but an interesting challenge, I would say.
So, we aim towards finding what combination of effects made for the best visualization for pitch and amplitude through observing the co-occurrences.
And then I think I just have to, I think we are ready to go.
Sure, yeah, I'm ready. You know, everyone tends to organize perceived information into hierarchies and structures, a principle that also applies to music. Even the musically untrained listeners subconsciously analyze and segment music with regard to various musical dimensions. It's very interesting.
So we plan to make a music visualizer on smartphones particularly, since it grants portability and ease of access. And furthermore, mobile phones can mediate reality by overlaying visual elements on real-world environments, of course, on the mobile screen. We also call this augmented reality.
We wanted to create a visualizer that can make understandable matching for the pitch and amplitude to visual elements. We would do this by taking the audio signal and analyze it in real time, extracting its pitch and amplitude to generate the graphical elements which would make up the visualizer.
Now, so current visualizers are not bad per se, but they don't really tell anything about the music. Unless you're using sort of specialized music visualizer to see the frequency spectrum of an audio clip or something like that. But you wouldn't really do that for entertainment purposes.
A surprisingly large amount of people have researched pitch estimation. It was crazily interesting, specifically HPS and VAF. HPS is this technique that looks for the overtones for a fundamental frequency, and VAF tries to combine two other techniques that work in the time domain, and it tries to look for patterns in the time domain.
About the cross-modal section? Yeah, I think that was one of the key difficulties in this project. Isn't it crazy that by making a sound like this, you subconsciously perceive the square to be wider, whereas by making a woo sound, you perceive it to be taller?
But the real question was, how do we map
musical features
to visual properties? So, the way we wanted to do it visually was having a particle and then changing its visual properties as sound changes.
So we would extract the time domain for a sound real time, use it to find the amplitude for the sound, and translate it to a visual mapping.
The effects we chose? We chose the hue, saturation, and value properties of color, as well as height, speed, and size. Yeah, size was the last one.
Ideally, we would have analyzed the audio at its sample rate, which is exactly 44,100 times a second. However, the actual application was running the node detection only at the frame rate we could achieve. This means that we were analyzing the audio and its frequency spectrum, I would say about 25 times a second to estimate pitch and amplitude.
Unity? Yeah, that was the game engine we used. We did all this in Unity. It took some time, but we ended up finishing with the implementation, and it looked really good, and then we got into the experiment.
Oh, and my name is Mark, by the way.
I'm very interested.
Alright, so during the test, I just want you to kind of think out loud on things that might frustrate you or confuse you about the app. You may ask me a question in time. If I don't have an answer, it's most likely because it has some bearing on the test. I will just show you how it's set up without sound, and then I'll put back sound, which is very handy. So here, that's done. But you see these particles.
Oh yeah, the results? They were interesting, but also a bit confusing. But not in the sense that they were completely conflicting, but we had a hard time analyzing them correctly with the methods we were using.
We couldn't find a statistically sound way to analyze the gathered data. To be honest, we should have prepared better for the experiment. We opted for observing the data in an occurrence table, which shows that the most occurring combination was pitch mapped to size and amplitude mapped to the vertical position.
So the observed data shows that there is a 6 probability for a participant to have pitch mapped to size and amplitude mapped to height as the visualization they found most pleasing when using the application. The second closest result only had about a 10th probability. This result shows a cluster in the data, but nothing really significant. And as such, we are unable to draw any significant results from the study.